Hello Year 3, happy Thursday. Welcome to today's lesson for our comprehension. And if you remember, we now start every lesson with our learning question, just like we would do in school. So for today's learning, Thursday the 28th of January, our learning question is, and let's read it together, can I make a prediction based on the text that I have read? Can I make a prediction? We've done predictions before in our guided reading, have we not? So what is a prediction? Hit pause on the video and see if you can come up with a really good definition in your head to describe the meaning of a prediction. There's a big clue on the board. Okay, so I hope you've had a go at thinking about a definition. And I'm going to give you a big clue what a prediction is now. This is Miss Morgan's crystal ball, and she's looking into the future. The future's looking very bright for me. Okay, so a prediction is based on the future. What is going to happen next? I think that this is going to happen next because, okay, so I have made 3 rules, 1, 2, 3, for when we make a prediction. Okay, so number 1, say it with me. Travel back in time. Now I know we can't do that in real life. We can't travel back in time, can we? But when we are reading a story, we can look back at our story and think, what's already happened in my story to help me to know what's going to happen next in my story. So what's happened in the text so far? Has a character or prop been mentioned that we may have forgotten about? So there's plenty of stories when a character's been introduced at the beginning and then you don't hear about them again until the end. So when you make a prediction, you think about the future, it's important to remember those characters because they could reappear. Okay. Rule number 2, say it with me. The clue is in the text. Now I've got my Pikachu here with his little looking glass and he is being his own detective. And he is looking for the clues in the text. So be your own detective and ask yourself lots of questions. What's already happened? Would it be realistic for an alien invasion to happen next? So let's take our story of Oliver Twist that we did yesterday in our learning. If we were making a prediction about what happens next in Oliver Twist, do you think an alien invasion would happen? I don't think so. Would be a great plot twist in our story though. And here's a quick tip. Look at the last paragraph. Now what is a paragraph? That's right, a paragraph is a piece of writing in your text. Okay, so your text is separated by different paragraphs. So always look at the last paragraph because that will probably give you an idea of what will happen next, what you could predict next. And rule number 3, say it with me, copycats, meow. So think about other stories that you have read. Could something similar happen in this story that we are reading? Okay, so I know I've read lots of stories and I know what happens at the end of those stories based on events that have happened at the beginning. So I can be a copycat and I can copy the prediction from that story. And what about your own experiences too? So think, has this happened to me before? What happened next? Could I put this in my prediction? Okay, so we've got how many rules? We've got 3 rules for making a prediction. Okay, I've got a little bit of a task for you now. And this task involves your favourite character, and that's Mr. Bean, the hilarious Mr. Bean. Okay, so you will need for this task your whiteboard and your whiteboard pen. Now if you don't have these on you for whatever reason at home or your pens ran out, then you can get just a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, so if you haven't got them now, hit pause on the video and go and get those. Okay, so hopefully you've got everything ready for your learning task here. What Miss Morgan wants you to do is to make a prediction based on this picture. So we've got Mr. Bean And there's a trail of a smile coming from the cake. And he looks like he is loving that cake. Okay, so you will start your prediction with, I think that. You're going to tell me what you will think will happen next. But remember, number 1, travel back in time. Okay, look at what's happening in the picture. Number 2, the clue is in the text. I can see a cake and I can see a very happy Mr. Bean. And number 3, be a copycat. So I know I can put myself in Mr. Bean's shoes and think, oh, if I smelt a lovely cake like that, I would be drifting, ready to eat that cake or steal that cake. Okay, so start your sentence with, I think that, and use your neatest handwriting too. Hit pause on the video. Year 3, well done for doing your whiteboard task. I can't wait to see some pictures of it, so make sure you don't rub it clean. Take a picture of your whiteboard or get somebody at home to take a picture so that it can be sent in on the email, and then I can give a big shout out to whoever really impresses me with their prediction. Okay, so now we are going to move on to our CPG Comprehension book. So we're going to do our questions in the book today before we move on to doing our task in our purple book. So if you haven't got your book now, hit pause on the video and go and get it. Okay, hopefully you have your book now. And if you remember, we are doing the same text that we did yesterday, and that's on page number 26, and we were doing Oliver Twist. Now, does anybody remember who the author of Oliver Twist is? It's Charles Dickens. Well done if you remembered that. He's a very famous children's author. Okay. So, even though we read this text yesterday and we answered 4 questions about it, I think it's very important that we read the text again. Why do you think it might be important? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, so I think it's important because if we're going to answer questions about the text, we need to find clues in our text, and we may have forgotten from yesterday. So I'm not going to read the text for you. I want you to do that independently, year 3, because you are brilliant readers and I know you can do it. So hit pause on this video and have another read of your fantastic story of Oliver Twist. Okay, so hopefully you have read that word for word now, which means every single word, to help you with your answers, because I'm not going to give you your answers. Okay, so we are going to go from question 5. Let's look at it together. Let's read it together. The word uneven on line 22 is, and it says circle 1, a verb, an adjective, a noun or an adverb. What are they from yesterday's learning? They are our 4 word classes. Well done if you got that right. So we should know, if we did our learning from yesterday, what uneven is. So is it a thing, a person, a place or a thing? Uneven? No, not really. Is uneven a verb? Is it a doing word? Can you do uneven? No, it's not going to be a verb, is it? I might put some little crosses next to them. So it's not a noun, it's not a verb, so it's either an adjective or an adverb. Now, if we are describing a wobbly table, can you hear my wobbly table? If we are describing a wobbly table as uneven, I am describing it. So what will my answer be? What word class is uneven? Number 6. What happens when Oliver starts to climb the stairs? This is a retrieval. So what does retrieval mean? You should know that by now. Okay, it means to retrieve, to take it from our text. But let's look for some important words that we can use to help us. Let's be a detective. What happens when Oliver starts to climb and the stairs? I'm going to look for those 3 words in my text, and then I should retrieve my answer. Okay, number 7. Write down an adjective. An adjective is a describing word to describe Oliver's personality. So if you remember from some of our learning in our books in the past, personality is what makes somebody. So I said, part of Miss Morgan's personality is that she is loud. You can't see that. It's not the fact that I have curly hair. It's my personality. You can't see that. Okay, so give me an adjective to describe Oliver's personality. What kind of person do you think he is? Do you think he's loud? Do you think he's quiet? Do you think he's shy? And then it says explain your answer. So what must we use? I hope you are shouting a conjunction at the video right now. I would use the conjunction because, okay? Because to extend, to expand your sentence. And question number 8. It says, what do you think might happen next? What type of skill is this in our guided reading? I'm sure we were doing it at the beginning of this lesson. You are going to write a prediction. Okay, what is going to happen next? What is going to happen in the future? Okay, but hold your horses. I don't want you to write your answer in your book. In fact, I want you now to get your purple books and hit pause on this video once you have got it. Okay, so hopefully you have got your purple book by now. Miss Morgan's got her special notes book again. Okay, so if you get your ruler ready, what I need you to do for today's task is to write the date, Thursday the 28th of January, and remember your title, Comprehension, in your neatest handwriting. In fact, I have to give another shout out to Isabel because your handwriting is getting so neat and you are so close to getting your pen licence, so well done. And a shout out to Millie too. Your handwriting is getting beautiful and you're really trying hard to join those letters up, Millie, good girl. Okay, so we've left question 8 blank in our book, we haven't answered it. Okay. So we're going to write a prediction now, what we may think happened next in our books. But what were my 3 key rules with a prediction? Pause the video now and see if you can remember them. I'll be very impressed if you get them. Okay, so number 1 was time. Look back in time. Look back at the text and think, oh, are there any characters at the beginning of the text that might come back in the story? Oh, in fact, what happens in the text? Well, I know that Oliver's going to steal in the house and then he gets hit on the head. Poor Oliver. Okay. Rule number 2. What was rule number 2? It was be a detective. Find those clues. Okay, so you've got to use your looking glass and you've got to find the clues in that text of what's going to happen next. And I gave you a really good tip to look at the last paragraph. They've hit the boy, cried Sykes, dragging him backwards. Oliver felt himself being carried on uneven ground. Shouts and cries rang out in the distance. Suddenly he was still. He felt and heard nothing. So Oliver has been knocked out. What do you think is going to happen next? And then number 3, be a copycat. Have you read a story that's similar to this? Fortunately, Miss Morgan hasn't, so I'm going to focus on the first 2 rules. And I always start my prediction with, I think that. So I think that. In fact, I'm struggling a bit now because I wrote I think that, but I think I might need to write down some information from my text to help me. So I'm going to use my whiteboard to help me on a clean side. I'm going to look at my text and think, oh, what characters are in my text? Oh, I know there's Nancy. I know there is Oliver, Fagin, and Sykes are the evil characters. Sykes. And Oliver got hit on the head. And what else? And then he was still. So I've wrote those words on my whiteboard to help me to write my prediction. Okay, so I think I'm going to talk about Oliver first. So I think that Oliver, capital O, because it's a name, a proper noun. I think that Oliver will eventually, oh, that's a good word from our learning yesterday, eventually wake up. Wake up. Although I don't think it's going to be very good when he wakes up. Why is it not going to be very good when he wakes up? Do you think that Fagin and Sykes are going to be really lovely to him after he ruined their robbery? No, I think they're going to be horrible to him. So I'm going to write my conjunction although I believe is another word for think. I believe that Fagin and Sykes, oh, am I getting my spelling right? Yes, I am. And Sykes will be fuming with him. And I could even put another conjunction. I could even expand my sentence by writing because, and I'm telling my reader why I think that. Okay, so I have written 3 sentences. Let's check together to see if Miss Morgan's sentences make sense for her prediction. I think that Oliver will eventually wake up, although I believe that Fagin and Sykes will be fuming with him because, not forgetting my comma after my conjunction. Okay, so it is your turn now. You can use Miss Morgan's to help you to write your prediction about what is going to happen next, but please make it your own work, your own words. And I want at least 6 lines for your prediction. Make it a good one. I predict that your predictions will be amazing, okay? So I look forward to seeing today's learning, and I will see you tomorrow for your last day of learning for this week, okay? You're doing really well, Year 3. Bye-bye.